to shape out. So it is Thursday right now. We have Friday coming up, and then a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, another Thursday, and another Friday. Wednesday, your papers are due. So if you're someone who likes to plan, here's how the rest of your semester works out. Wednesday, your papers are due, both for CIS and for AP Lang. Both, if you want to submit before the end of the school day or before midnight, you're in great shape. If you do submit an electronic copy, I'm going to ask that you turn in a hard copy on Thursday. That makes sense? Yeah. Okay. So if you're one of the people who are, they're frantically going to work up until 12 a.m., fine. Just make sure you bring in a hard copy on Thursday. On Tuesday, we are going to have a peer review day. So on Tuesday, you need to have a polished rough draft. That means that you have either an introduction or a conclusion, and you have both body paragraphs. That means that, whatever you need to do Monday, Friday, Thursday, in order to get to this point in life, you got to do it. I told you if you were going to be on track, you were supposed to come back from break with what written? One body paragraph, right? So raise your hand if you have a body paragraph done. Okay, so you four are in great shape. You have one body paragraph done. By the end of the day on Friday, you want to have another body paragraph done. And then on Monday, you can do your intro or conclusion. So you're going to ease nicely into this Tuesday. Those of you who have nothing done, you're going to have to get body paragraph 1 done by Friday. So you're probably going to have to do some homework tonight or over the weekend so you can get body paragraph 2 done here, and then some homework over the other night so you can get either introduction and conclusion done. So you're a little bit behind the 8 ball. I don't know, use your flex time wisely. Saturday and Sunday are 2 whole days to figure stuff out. But this is where you have to be on Tuesday. You are going to have a work day all day on Friday. You're going to have a work day all day on Monday to accomplish this stuff. So, you're going to have time. This shouldn't be a freak out mode, but it's going to require that you use your time wisely. Now, on Wednesday, your papers are due. Since your paper is due by the end of the day, you will also have time on Wednesday to address any of the problems that became illustrated to you on Tuesday. Now, if you did a good job and everything is polished, you will also on Wednesday have a chance to do your reading for the final. Thursday and Friday next week, you are going to have a final in this class. Okay? So if you're all done and good to go on Wednesday, you'll be able to read stuff Wednesday during class, so you won't have any homework, and you'll complete the final in class on Thursday and Friday. If you are frantically finishing your paper on Wednesday, then you will need to do your reading Wednesday night so that you can be prepared for the final on Thursday and Friday. Those of you with conflicts, you'll be able to address this during flex time. You'll be able to address this during advisory before or after school, or maybe you're just a super genius and you get it done on time. So that's how that works. So this is the rest of your week going into the end of the first semester. Question, Deans?
What's our final going to be?
What you've been doing. Okay, so reading and writing. So on Wednesday, you're going to get something to read, and then you are going to be asked to answer questions and write about this thing that you read. You'll be annotating it and all that sort of fun stuff. Then on Friday, you will be given something else to read, and Friday will be a writing day. So this is the writing part of your final. This is the reading part of your final. Does that make sense? Other questions? Okay. Now, somebody refresh my memory. I'm reading something. I don't know what's going on. What's step 1? Find a topic. What's step 2? Subtopics. What's step 3? No. Step 3 is purpose statement. How do I write a purpose statement? What question do I need to answer? What is the author trying to say about topic and subtopic? What are the qualities of a great purpose statement? Strongly worded, specific, has a so what. Now, I'm someone who's having a hard time figuring out what the big topic is. Where do I look to discover that? Title. So title can give you a big topic. As you're reading, you can come up with subtopics and on and on and on and on. Now, when you're reading something, you are annotating and adding marginalia. Right now, you have one thing in your pocket. I've asked you to start underlining stuff. When do you underline something? as you're reading, how do you decide whether something is worthy of an underline or not? Nope.
Sounds like it's a topic sentence or analysis.
If it's important, you're underlining important stuff. How do you know if something's important, Mr. Gazdick?
Sounds like a topic sentence or analysis.
Now, when someone's writing out there in the real world, are they putting topic sentence at the beginning of their paragraph all the time? Are they putting analysis at the end all the time? No, those things are jarbled. So whenever you're reading something that sounds like topic sentence or analysis, you want to underline it. After you underline something, you add marginalia. Right now, what is the only marginalia you add? So after you've underlined something, what goes in the margins? Yeah, so you're adding marginalia in which you're doing what to the sentences you just underlined? Paraphrasing. How is paraphrase different than summary? Words you understand, you're dumbing it down. Even if you're smart, you're dumbing this idea down a factor of 1 billion, okay, so that it is your words and you are expressing this idea. That demonstrates comprehension. So that's all we have so far when it comes to annotation. Today, my New Year's gift to you is more marginalia that you can add in addition to underlining and annotating / paraphrasing. Ready for it? It's really exciting. You got 3 new symbols at your disposal. Here's symbol 1. Here's symbol 2. Or you can do this. All right, pretty cool. And symbol 3 is that guy. Okay, so you're using this whenever you are noting a comparative relationship. So whenever the author is comparing something to something else, you want to put this in the margins, and then on this side, you put thing A, and this side, you put thing B. So what is being compared to what? So maybe the author is making the comparison between a hot dog with ketchup on it. They're comparing that to what a murdered person's arm looks like. Okay? So if you're reading something, they make that comparison in the margins. You want to clearly identify that comparison. What do you suppose this guy is? Contrast. Okay? So maybe here they're saying that, you know what? A watermelon that has exploded does not look like a human head that has exploded. Okay, so they're drawing a stark contrast. In case you can't tell, I've watched a lot of violent television over break. And so these are where my comparisons are coming from for right now. I started watching The Witcher the other night. A little Mandalorian, not super violent, but a lot of serial killer murder mysteries. So, yeah, just a lot of death. Now, this one down here, anyone care to take a crack at that bad boy? We got comparisons, we have contrasts. What sounds like it fits with those two? Leads to is kind of a different way of saying it. Cause and effect. Okay, so an axe went through somebody's head. That was the cause. The effect was that their head split in half. Okay, so you're reading stuff. Being able to identify these relationships is the second most important thing behind identifying what's important. If you are able to identify what's important and you are able to clearly understand how they're comparing things, contrasting things, or cause-affecting things, you have a great chance of being able to piece together the point of an author who's making a complex point. Or you have a great chance of being able to successfully unpack college-level reading, wherein these things are huge. And if you miss this, you're going to be lost. You're reading something, you miss where they draw a sharp contrast, you're going to get screwed up the rest of the way. So we want to be able to get good at seeing this stuff. Now, how this looks. I'm reading something. So this is just text, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So when I notice something where there's a comparison, now in the marginalia, I simply add my equal sign and I state what is being compared to what. That's all it is. You don't need to do it's not like a big whole thing. You notice there's a cause effect. Great. You just do that and then you say what is the cause and what is the effect. I handed out a piece of paper to you as you walked into class today. I'd like you to look at that bad boy. Starts, looks like this. The reporter at large, the next word. Now, what I want you to do before you start reading is to number the paragraphs. Numbering the paragraphs is just going to help us out when we write about this stuff in a little bit. So there are 9 paragraphs. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can put your number over the text, and it's not a big deal. If you need a copy, let me know. I got more up here.
Do we have to put the numbers on?
Yes. And the numbering is just for a conversation we're going to have in a little bit, where it's going to be helpful to be able to reference paragraphs. So your paper should look like this. And then I scratched out the last paragraph. You're not going to read that, so don't even worry. No Spanish. Just kidding. It's not like I'm sorry. We got a book that's in Spanish and English, and whenever I try to read it in Spanish, he gets upset.
I need to transfer my money into my phone.
That doesn't sound like English, Avery.
English?
Yeah. Transfer money into my account?
Yeah, no, that's English.
I know, that has nothing to do with this business. All right. So I'm about to read this. I don't know what it's about. Where do I look? Title. What does the title say? The next word. Okay, does that give us many clues? Not so much. Below the title, where will predictive text take us? Okay, now we got something. What is predictive text?
Predicting the future.
Yeah. So does anyone know like where have you seen predictive text? Nope. How many of you use your Gmail account?
Oh.
How many of you, whenever you're writing, do you get those gray words that pop up to complete your sentence? That's predictive text. On my iPhone, whenever I'm typing out a text message, I type in 2 letters and then 3 words will appear at the top. And that's the computer trying to predict what I'm going to say and presenting me options. And I can click on that to complete my sentence. Predictive text. This author is asking the question, where will predictive text take us? What do you think that means? Where will predictive text take us? Who is the us in that sentence? Humanity. So where will predictive text take humanity? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's we got that big topic. This author is wondering about what? They're writing about something in response to what's the deal with predictive text? Where is that going to lead us? So here we go. Now, I don't want you to underline in here. We are just playing around with these 3 symbols right now. I'm going to get you started and then let you loose. So here we go. I glanced down at my left thumb, still resting on the tab key. What have I done? Had my computer become my co-writer? That's one small step forward for artificial intelligence, but was it also one step backward for my own? The skin pricked on the back of my neck, an involuntary reaction to what roboticists call the uncanny valley, the space between flesh and blood and a 2-human machine. Stop. Okay, alarm bells should be going off in your heads right now because the author has just used a cause-effect relationship right here at the end of paragraph 2. So in my margins, I would be given one of these bad boys. Now, I need to identify in my own words the cause and the effect. In paragraph 2, what is the effect? Skin prickle, right? So I like to write with abbreviations. You can write something out in its entirety. You can put down SP for skin prickle. You could write it out, skin prickle. You could right here if you wanted to. You draw a friggin' arrow. So right here, you could put an E that symbolizes effect, and you could come down to skin pricked and underline it. You have to figure out your own method of marginalia. What I'm saying you have to have, though, is our cause-effect symbol. Now, the tricky one. What is the cause of the skin prickling?
Between flesh and blood and 2-human machine.
Now, what is that? I need to paraphrase that. What does that mean? What is causing the skin to prickle?
The fact that robots are getting smarter.
Yeah, he has relied. Robots have written something for him. Okay, so somebody who's reading this thing, they won't be able to tell if it's robot or if it's human, and that is causing his skin to prickle. With me so far? Okay, we continue reading. For several days, I had been trying to ignore the suggestions made by Smart Compose, a feature that Google introduced in May 2018 to the 1.5 billion people who use Gmail, roughly a fifth of the human population. Smart Compose suggests endings to your sentences as you type them based on the words you've written and on the words that millions of Gmail users followed those words with. Predictive text guesses where your thoughts are likely to go and, to save you time, wraps up the sentence for you, appending the AI suggestion in gray letters to the words you've just produced. Hit tab and you've saved yourself as many as 20 keystrokes and, in my case, composed a sentence with an AI for the first time. Stop. Boom. Alarm bells. Okay. End of paragraph 3. We have another cause-effect relationship. What is the cause?
Hitting tab.
Hitting tab. Yep. And what is the effect of hitting tab? Saving time. So hitting tab is another phrase for predictive text. So predictive text saves time. That's the point we're trying to make here. So predictive text is making them feel weird, but predictive text is also something that's an absolute time saver. Now, so far we've done just cause effect, right? As you read, you'll notice others of the other two. This isn't just a cause effect joke. In column 1, there is one more thing to identify at least. In column 2, there is one more thing. And in column 3, there's another relationship. So I'm going to give you 7 minutes right now to read through the rest of the article. You should be making one more compare, contrast, or cause effect in column 1, one in column 2, and one in column 3. And then after those 7 minutes are up, we're just going to come back and share what we found. Again, you're trying to identify all of this business. You guys got it? All right. It's 1:32. You got till 1:39. Good luck.
Can you go over what the first two symbols mean?
Comparison, contrast, cause effect. Just like our fun intro phrases. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most important types of sentences. This is an individual experience right now. So please try to go on your own journey through predictive text by your own. Start reading.
I'm reading.
Yep. And then we're going to go over this. Not everything is essential.
Okay, yeah,
That's a
Okay, yeah, I see
astute
what you
comparison, but not as important as others. I would even say the first one you identified is not necessarily essential.
Okay, I found something else.
Yeah.
I was just double checking.
I want you to do stuff you don't know how to do. So just read it, watch the first 10 minutes of the video.
I'm sorry, my phone. I try and turn down my music and I'll.
That's a dirty lie. Get pictures up. Right away. Start reading. can be any of the ones on the top, Larkowski. One more minute.
Ah.
All right. So, in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to tell me what you found. We have these paragraph numbers for this conversation we're having right now. So, let's say someone raised their hand. They would say, hey, Mr. Lindenberg, in paragraph 2, I noticed a cause-effect relationship. The cause being the robot wrote something, and the effect was that the skin pricked on the writer's back. Or you would raise your hand and say, hey, Mr. Lindenberg, at the end of paragraph 3, I noticed another cause-effect relationship where the author, the cause was hitting tab and the effect is saving time. So cause is predicted text helps you save time. Does that make sense? That's how your comments should sound coming to me now in the next 2 minutes. So what did we find? In what paragraph did we find something? And what did you find in that paragraph? Mr. Gannon.
So at the end of paragraph 4,
Okay.
I had a cause and effect.
Oh, okay.
So because of the autotype or whatever it was called, the effect was that you would save 2 billion keystrokes. Or it would be, what was it? Save altogether 2 billion keystrokes.
Smart Compose saves users 2 billion keystrokes. So the cause is the Smart Compose, and the effect is, again, saving time. Right? Similar thing in the form of keystrokes. Yes. There's another big one in number 4.
Is it the writing of code and the language of the software engineering?
Oh, okay. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's definitely important in something, Miss Thorson. They're comparing what?
They're comparing writing code to the G Suite software.
What is the comparison they're making?
They're saying it's like how the engineers rely on the shortcuts, that the G Suite software is the shortcuts, like that we rely on.
You're so very close, and you haven't quite understood it yet. Coding, right? And the coding shortcuts is being compared to what?
Writing shortcuts.
What'd you say?
Writing shortcuts.
The writing shortcuts, or this Smart Compose, right? Now, you could also say that this is a cause effect. The cause being coders rely on those shortcuts for writing code. The effect of that was that it gave people the idea for predictive text. Does that make sense? Look at that first sentence. Told me that the idea for the product came in part from the writing of code. The idea came from the writing of code. The effect, the idea, the cause came from writing of code. How many of you had one of these 3 things in paragraph 4? Okay, that's good. How many of you had one of these 2 at the bottom? That's better. Okay, why is this better than this? Yeah, we've already touched on the other one. So it's good that you have this, only if you have this in addition to this stuff over here. Now, these two, what's better, comparison or cause effect? And consider this first sentence. Told me that the idea for the product came in part from the writing of code. Cause and effect. Is it a comparison? Yes, but it's a comparison under the terms of cause effect. Although it isn't necessarily a big deal to quibble about that. Not so much. So long as you are identifying it, you are in good shape. Who else found something? Mr. Bemis.
On the third column in paragraph 8, under the I before E, where he says, now that spell checkers are ubiquitous in word processing software, I've stopped trying to spell anymore. I did spell checking. Spell checkers are ubiquitous. That's the cause, and the effect is you stop trying to spell.
He no longer tries to spell. Absolutely. There's another big one in that column, right around where he's looking. Who else had something in paragraph 8 or 9? Brody.
So I said that like the spell checkers were like they're not comparable to the autocomplete because one helps you spell words and one just gives you words.
Yeah, big time. And that's a big contrast. Like, hey, spell check and predictive text seem similar, but they're actually very different. Spell check, does spell check get you to the uncanny valley where you don't know where robots begin and humans end? No, spell checking is just a tool that solves a problem, right? Predictive text, if you keep on hitting tab, you've typed an email, but who has typed that email? The robot. Okay, so the human mind mesh is more appropriate. Big time. How many of you had that one identified in some way, shape, or form? Good. Now we're missing one in here. Paragraph 5 or 6.
What does AC stand for, quick?
Autocomplete, predicted text. Ms. Shock.
In paragraph 6, I'm not sure if it's new. I did a comparison between the predicting the fastest routes, like Google Maps, but then like predicting words is different
Okay, so is that comparison?
or control.
Okay. So Google Maps is different than predictive text, right? How is Google Maps, according to this guy, different than predictive text? He's okay with Google Maps. He doesn't know if he's okay with predictive text.
Because he said he wasn't sure how long it would be before like it starts thinking everything for him.
Right.
So, like,
This one helps him out, just like autocorrect. This one, his identity is becoming blurred. 100%. What's another one in this same area? Somebody other than Bemis. Thorsten, you already gave us some knowledge. Yeah. I'll give you a hint. Here's another hint. FS stands for finishing a sentence or typing a sentence to the end. That's the cause. What is the effect? Carson?
That's
just I thought you were kind of like, I don't know. Okay. All right, okay. Yeah, come on, someone. It's at the beginning. It's actually number 5, sorry. Beginning of paragraph 5. Finishing a sentence is the cause. The effect is nope. I'm gonna let you answer this. someone hazard a guess? Bingo! Defending humanity's what?
Exclusive right to life.
Yes. So the cause, finishing a sentence, writing out a sentence, that is the effect of that is defending humanity's right to write. How is finishing a sentence an example of humanity defending its right to write? What'd you say?
Because humans are doing
Yeah,
it.
a human is doing it. You writing the sentence out is you doing it and not letting the robot enter into the equation. Makes sense, one and all. Okay, so if you were doing a really good job, and again, we're not there yet, this is our first crack at it, you would have these jams identified in this paper. And if you were doing a really, really good job, we would have also added on the topic, sentence, and analysis underline part of this. Now, could you see as you were reading this, were some of these examples of topic sentencey type things and analysis type things? Yes. Okay. So in that marginalia, instead of paraphrasing, this would be how you paraphrase, using the symbol and illustrating what's being compared to, what's being contrasted, or what's being cause effect. So today, if you leave class with nothing else, you just need to know what this symbol means, what this symbol means, and what this symbol means, and how to use those symbols as you annotate when you're reading something. Got it? Okay, so you can put this away and throw it in the recycling bin on your way out. Now, you were supposed to come to class with a paragraph written. Not many of you have written that paragraph. Whatever. Take out what you have. All right, so we have the CIS paper you're writing about Douglas supporting or disproving Colchin. We have the AP paper you're writing about farm workers supporting or disproving honesty, or you're writing about bagels supporting or disproving capitalism as only caring about efficiency. In your topic sentence for the CIS paper, it should sound something like Friedrich Douglass supports or disputes Colchin's claim about blank. You know, so that would be an example of a generic topic sentence. If you wanted to, you could jack up the specificity of what Colchin's claim is, but you need to have these two parts to your topic sentence. It can go in either order, but these things need to be in there. If you're doing the AP Lang, your topic sentence needs to be something about how migrant farm workers or bagels support or disprove claims about honesty or capitalism. Again, they can go either. You can start with this and end with this, but these components need to be part of that topic sentence. Now, when you go on to context, down here in CIS, you need to provide more specificity, or you need to expand on Colchin's argument. Douglass doesn't come into the picture in context. So one of two things has happened. One thing, you have a really long, almost purpose statement right here. Down here, you just need to do some light addition to make sure you've fully shaped Colchin's argument. If you have a general statement of Colchin's argument up here, down here in your context, you need to include your purpose statement, or you need to be much more specific about what exactly is Colchin saying and how exactly does Colchin's argument work. That's what your context is. Colchin. It would be very nice if you included a Colchin quote in your context. So you're providing us more information about the Colchin argument. Down here, it's the same thing. You are providing us more information about the honesty or capitalism argument that you're going to support or disprove down here. So what exactly? Spell out the details. This stuff supports parts of this stuff. So what specific part are you going to deal with? You frame that with your context. In your evidence, you're using a Frederick Douglass quote. Your evidence over here is a quote from Strawberry Fields or Bagel Man. And then the analysis is the same for both. you're either using comparative, contrast, or cause-effect sentences to explain why and how your evidence supports your topic sentence. So if you're saying something about paternalism, you've given us a quote of Douglas saying that people were punished. Great. Walk us through how that punishment supports or disproves Colgan's claims about paternalism. And same thing over here. You've given us a quote about migrant farm workers working hard. How does that support or refute claims about honesty and how honest people are? So this is the general format for your paragraphs. And you need to have 2 body paragraphs that flow in this way. Does that make sense? If you missed what I just said, post the video to Google Classroom right when we're done with class. Those of you that walked in late, make sure you're watching the beginning part about our new marginalia. Those of you who are confused about stuff, you can watch this. Tomorrow, bring in paragraphs. Tomorrow's a work day, so I'll have the opportunity to read what you have and give you feedback. But again, these are the things you need to have in your paragraphs. Have a great day. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to class. Always a pleasure.